Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
This is going to be a great episode of the program because we've already done a full run-through of this episode.
My camera pooped out for some reason, so here we are. Let's go. And you know what? That happens sometimes. That's real.
Yeah.
That like sometimes in life, it just doesn't go the way you expected it to go the first time, and you just have to start over, and here we are.
And that, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that at all. We were going to call this episode the Hanta Cruise, but we thought it was a little dark. We thought it was a little too dark.
Yeah. Let's just move right off that. Right off it. It's happy only, happy cruising only.
Okay, good. Happy cruising only.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have any jokes for that. Just, we're not going to be all about the airborne strain
I'm
of
not going to
Hanta.
be all about anything. I don't want COVID 2.0, and I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, you know which realtor to call if you're in lockdown and get sick of your house.
Right? Yes. And
That's it. And I'm moving on.
I saw a news report over the weekend that some health expert, some doctor was on NBC News, the Today Show Saturday Today, or whatever they call that thing, and said, you do not need to cancel travel plans because this is not like COVID. You are not likely to get this strain of the Hanta virus.
Okay. And here we are talking about it when we said we wouldn't.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about how all those people were locked on the boat and you thought it was suspicious that none of their social media was active during that. But I can tell you the super fancy Wi-Fi on a cruise is not super fancy.
We can tell you that because
so that could be why.
Yeah. We don't. This is how dedicated we are to work. We got invited on a cruise with some family members. We don't really like cruising, but let's say yes because, you know, we love them and everything. Okay.
Right.
So we did not get the drink package, but we did get the super fast, high-speed internet because no matter where we go and what we do, we work a little bit every single day. Even if we're on vacation, when we went to Hawaii for anniversary,
right.
We started every morning with probably 2 or 3 hours of work, and then we went and played all day.
Right.
It's just how we choose to live. Some people are like, oh, you need to fully unplug. My brain doesn't work that way.
I can't fully unplug ever for any reason. I'm thinking about deals all the time, no matter what.
Yeah. So it's just the way we're wired, and that's great that we're together because we're both that way.
Yes.
But let me tell you that what doesn't deliver. The super high-speed internet package.
Yeah, and it's like $130 or whatever it was on that cruise that we did.
Stupid.
And nope, I couldn't.
I would love to hear from somebody who cruises and loves it, why you love it. Because to me, it was just like a big, expensive hotel moving through the water.
Right. And once you've seen water, I've seen water. Once you've seen it.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you turn around on the deck, there it is.
Now,
you've done it.
I went on a cruise to the Bahamas on Royal Caribbean in like 2012, 13.
Sure.
That was super fun. But I had 5 of my kids with me, so, you know, that maybe was the difference there. But every night entertainment, the show that they put on was so good. I loved it. Now, the cruise you and I went on,
not as good.
The every night show, I was so excited to go. I'm like, no, the show's the best part. We have to go every night. I am going to tell you,
wow, bad.
It was hard because I don't know if you've ever met David Austin in person, but he's got a big laugh. Big, loud, obvious laugh. And it was so bad that we were like, it was hard to not laugh out loud. It was hard for me to not laugh out loud. It wasn't hard for David. He just let it out.
Well, if they were singing off key, hilarious. This is a professional performance. And I get it that you're from Latvia and English is not your first language, but at least listen to the song before you sing it. I will not perform with a band and sing out loud in public unless I've rehearsed with the band. I don't think that Latvian lady rehearsed at all when she was singing the theme from Titanic.
My favorite part of the theme from Titanic was the iceberg that came floating through.
Okay, note to self: if I'm putting together a show for a cruise, I don't think I'm going to do cruise disaster as part of my show theme. I don't think so. While I do like to,
and imagine you've got like two people with these sheer kind of flowy pieces of fabric on sticks going by behind her, and they're supposed to be the iceberg
that they're about to slam into.
Oh my gosh.
Now, when I fly, I do like to watch like Air Force One, which is a great air disaster movie. And the reason I like to watch Air Force One while I'm flying is because the turbulence feels like sense around. I like that. It doesn't freak me out. It's soothing, actually.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fully immersive.
Oh my gosh. The last flight that we did, which was last month, and it was a 5.5 hour flight. I get on the airplane, or I'm at the airport waiting to get on, and I say to David, "Oh, I forgot my AirPods. Oh no, I forgot my AirPods."
Right.
Then I go, "Not to worry. I've got these bad boys, the plug-in that I got from, some other time I flew. I kept them. I keep them right by my passport because I'm a nerd like that. And I'm like, don't worry, I've got these, so I'll be fine." And we get on the plane, and who's booking these flights, Delta? I'd like to know, where you are putting people on a 5.5 hour flight with no screens. What the hell? There's no screen. I forgot my book at home. I had set it out to bring it.
Right.
Forgot it. So let me just recap for you. There's no AirPods. So I can't listen to music.
Awful.
Or podcasts or anything. No book. And there's no screens on the plane. So you might be curious, Londa, what did you do for 5.5 hours? Well, one thing I did, I can tell you now that all of the photos, the last 8 years of photos and videos on my phone, in my camera, my, what do you call it? Galleries?
Yes.
Organized. I deleted hundreds of photos and videos that I didn't need, don't use. If you put, you sell a chair on Facebook Marketplace.
Sure, you don't need
and
that
you've got
anymore.
6 photos of it, and you forgot they were there until you're on a flight for 5.5 hours with nothing to do but go through your photo gallery. So that's what I mostly did, besides getting up every 30 minutes. I feel sorry if I'm not on the aisle, which I was on this flight, but if I'm not on the aisle, I feel bad for the people next to me. And I tell them when they sit down, like, hey, I'm a jumper. I'm a jumper and a runner. I get up a lot. And so I have to go to the bathroom a lot. I got to stretch my leg a lot. I've got like a little hip issue. Grandma has a hip problem. But yeah, no kidding. Do you see all this gray hair? You can see it. It's flying.
I think it's very pretty, your gray hair.
It's flying in this episode because I have it up and I have more gray on the underside than on the top.
That's right.
So, man, you can see it. Grammar is grammarin'.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I made it through the flight, but and then sometimes I write on my phone. I'll like open the notes app and I'll write, but that time I wasn't feeling inspired that way.
I gotcha. Meanwhile, I watch air disaster movies.
Exactly.
Very different than when I'm on a boat. I don't want to see a musical interpretation of boating catastrophe.
I'm curious to know,
yes,
if you were in that same situation, because
what I would
you
do?
Are very media kind of, yeah. What would you do for that 5.5 hours if you didn't have anything?
Yeah, that is a physical impossibility because I have redundancies. Here's what I mean by that. My iPad has downloaded movies and shows on it for travel. My phone also downloaded movies and shows for travel. So if one goes out, good news, boom, back up, right? There's no chance.
And you keep all the plugins and the headphones and all that in your backpack.
And my backpack, which lives over there in this room, in the music studio side of the room, has all of those accessories in it all the time.
Which is why it weighs 80 pounds.
That's right.
But let me tell you, if I need a plug-in, you've got it. But not an extra set of AirPods.
And the one thing that I take out when I go on a trip is if I'm not going to need to play my euphonium or trombone on the trip, I take out the holder that holds the tripod that holds my iPad. I don't need to take that with me if I am not
interesting. So it was my lack of preparation.
Well, yeah, and it is necessary to me to have something to stimulate my brain while I'm flying because I am not a good flyer. So there's no chance that I'm going to leave for a trip without headphones of every kind.
It's interesting that you used that term, stimulate your brain, though, because I would call it the opposite.
No, it stimulates my brain so I shut off my own experience and view some other experience. Because if I'm focused on my own experience, every bump in the air freaks me out bad. Every bump, certainly the wings are coming off. Every single one. But if I'm watching a plane blowing up in a movie, the bumps are just added fun. I haven't tried like an air shooting at each other movie like Pearl Harbor or a dogfight movie yet. I bet that would be good flying into Salt Lake City because Salt Lake City is usually a little bumpy.
Yeah.
A little bumpy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. How about the story coverage of the plane that hit a pedestrian at the Denver International Airport this week? Why are we covering it like the airline did something wrong? Some crazy suicidal person climbed the fence and walked into the pathway of a plane. Why are we blaming the airline for that?
I think you just said everything that needs to be said about that.
Isn't that interesting? I'm
going to tell you right now. Question everything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about...
Are we back to the Hanta boat?
No. I'm back to... No. What I'm talking about is anything you see...
Right.
You should have more questions than opinions about it to begin with.
Well, that's true.
I see something that... Ask yourself questions, especially if it's in the media or in social media. You got to ask yourself, is that real? Because, for example, you brought that up to me and I hadn't thought about it. I wasn't really paying attention to it anyway. I kind of vaguely had heard the story, but I didn't think anything of it really. It didn't get into my airspace. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then you said every major outlet is kind of acting like this is the airline's fault and we've got to beef up security and what can we do to blah, blah, blah. But 10 years ago, they would have said...
Suicidal person climbs fence at airport, tragically dies while being hit by plane. That's literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's weird, right?
Yeah. And then they showed the people getting off the plane and the one guy that had his backpack jumping off the plane, going down the slide. And they tell you, leave your stuff on the plane in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
And clearly that's a violation of the rule. Well, that guy doesn't want to lose his iPad. So he just put his backpack on and jumped off the plane.
Listen, he needs his disaster movie to keep him thinking about what's actually happening right in front of him right now.
I
would say by and large, our society is sort of losing the ability to just blindly follow directions.
Well, that's true. And the reason that is because we've been disappointed as a society from some of the people that we didn't question in the past.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I personally took the COVID vaccine because I was told my wife has an immunocompromised medical state, so she can't take it. But if I take it, I'm protecting her because then I can't pass it on. That's what I was told.
Right.
And I don't know if they told us that to make us go take the vaccine or if they told us that because they believed it. I don't know now. Because now we know that was untrue. You are more likely to transmit it to your loved ones if you have the vaccine because now you're certainly a carrier. Certainly.
Yeah. And you did, and I did get it.
Yes.
And it was the sickest I've ever been in my whole life.
Right. Yeah. And
it was the kind...
And your doctor told you, no, Londa, you cannot get the vaccine.
Bro,
Cannot.
My doctor, the whole time through COVID, I kept checking in with him, and he kept saying, no, not with your autoimmune stuff. It's not safe. It's not approved. We don't know. There's too many questions.
Right.
And even when I got COVID and I was so sick, and I was sick for, I think, a total of 24 days.
Right.
If I remember. And, it was the kind of Jesus take me home sick,
Yeah.
like sweet baby Jesus, I'm ready to go home, wherever that is, whatever it looks like. I don't even care anymore. Just this has to end. And the day that I was laying on the floor and I was crying, but no tears were coming out, I thought, I'm sick and I'm severely dehydrated. And when was the last time I went to the bathroom? I'm like, oh God, this is bad.
Right.
And I don't remember the point that I was going to make, but this leads me into more of what we were talking about, which is that was the moment I decided, okay, if I'm going to get better, it's up to me to get better. And
so you did other things to get better.
Well, what I did that day, and prior to that day, I couldn't hold my own head up. Do you remember? No. Helped me into the bathtub.
Yep. Yes.
And I couldn't even hold my head up. I had my head back against the thing unless you held it up. It was terrible. I don't know why that's funny. It wasn't.
I just had a picture in my head of me pushing you down. Which I never would do.
Y'all, this is what I live with. What kind of
I can't hold
bullshit is
hold
this?
My head up.
David Austin.
It's just so stupid. I'm laughing because it's so stupid.
So anyway, if I ever come up dead,
and you've drowned,
you know who to look at first.
Well, here's the bad news. I would tell on myself because I'm not a good poker player.
Okay, but let's try to move past the fact that my husband wanted to murder me during COVID.
I don't even remember any of this.
To this moment where I could barely walk, I could barely move, I could barely do anything, and I had you bring me a notepad and a pen, and I wrote down a protocol. I want water, I want broth, I want these supplements, these vitamins, and I want all of these things this often. I remember writing that down on a piece of paper for you and saying, follow this.
Right. And what happened?
And then I went back to sleep because I was sleeping, I don't know, 14, 16, 18, 20 hours a day. It was crazy. And you just followed those directions. And little by little, I started gaining my strength back because, again, because of the situation too, I was, when I got sick, obviously I was in touch with my doctor, and we were living in Florida at the time. My doctor is not from Florida. Yep. And I got in touch with him and was asking him, what I should do and should I go to the hospital? And he said, absolutely not.
Right. His exact words were, go ahead. You were going to say it. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just excited.
I think what he said is, if you don't have to, don't go.
Right. Because if there's a chance that you could get sicker, you certainly will.
He said, especially in Florida.
Right.
So,
although Florida's death count way lower than most states.
Well,
they did a good job with it.
Whatever the case, I think that is a really good story to lead into the idea that we talk about a lot, which is that nobody's going to get you out of anything but you. Now, you'll have help along the way.
Sure.
Like any one of our kids, if they called, nobody's coming for you. No, that's not true. Your mom's coming for you. I don't care
or your dad.
That's right. I don't care what the circumstance is. I will be there. You call, I'm there.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And ultimately, it's up to us to shake it off, figure out a solution, and move forward, because you can have a lot of external motivation. And I remember speaking to a group of realtors about this one time. I can give you all the external motivation in the world. I can show you all the hype videos. I can, get you plugged into all the best training in the world. I can make sure your skill set on the contracts or whatever is sharp.
Sure.
I can teach you soft skills. I can do all that. That's all external motivation. If you don't have something in you that drives you to get up in the morning and perform at whatever, show up for your workout, show up for your family, show up for your job, for your clients, for whatever it is, there's got to be an internal motivation. And that day when I fell down on the floor and I started crying and no tears came out, that was the moment for me that I thought, okay, it's up to me.
Right.
And just had, even in that very dark moment, shift in that. And what can I do is what I was thinking, like, okay, what can I do? Well, I need to be doing these things. Well, I can't do those things. I have somebody else in the house that can. I just need to write it down.
Right.
And you're good at following directions.
That's exactly right.
At 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., at 10 a.m., at 11 a.m., you know.
Yep.
And I think it took about 2 weeks to come back from that.
It was definitely a weird time that I have since blocked out of my memory. I have no memory of it.
Yeah, the only part you remember is wanting to push me under the water.
No, I don't remember that. That's why I made up the little movie scene in my head. Because I don't remember you being so weak you couldn't hold up your own. That sounds crazy to me. I have no memory of that. I do remember,
it's interesting,
however,
right? Because you lived it. You were there. I think things that are...
I think it's a survival skill that I have.
Yep, things that are super scary to you, you kind of block.
Right. And so...
complex trauma.
But I don't have complex trauma. But whatever the case, you saying, hey, I wrote down this system that I need you to follow. Easy. Because no, I don't know what to do, right? But if you tell me at 9 o'clock I need chicken noodle soup, at 10 o'clock I need electrolytes, at 11 o'clock I need, and I don't remember what any of them were, but
none of that, but yeah.
At 11 o'clock I need a sponge bath. I'm getting to that one first, by the way.
Because you're going to push me under.
No, sponge bath, you're not in a tub.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Anyway, whatever the case, I can do that. That's easy.
Right.
And I just check as I go.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't know what to do. I remember we had a conversation once about you felt like you were alone because you didn't feel like I was there to care for you. And it's because you didn't tell me what to do. I remember that. And that is what prompted you, I think, to write down exactly what I should do. And I'm thrilled to help, but I don't intuitively know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You're definitely not an intuitive caretaker.
Well, no, I don't. How would I know what to do?
How did I know what to do? I learned it over time.
Maybe, yes, and I've never learned it because I didn't have the opportunity to do that. Does that make sense?
You may not have ever, prior to that, been in a position where you had to.
Right.
I wouldn't say I had the opportunity to learn it, but I was in the position of having to care for people.
You had 7 children that you were the primary caregiver to.
And I took care of both of my parents when they were sick. And so there was a lot of experience along the way.
And I've never had any of that. When my mom was dying of cancer, I lived in another town.
Right.
I wasn't even there.
Right. And, okay, and to be fair, like a little hobby of mine, my whole life has been studying like health and nutrition and alternative healing therapies and things like that. And so it's not only like just my life experience, but it's like a little bit of a passion project of mine, if you will.
Right. Like if somebody skins their knee, you know what kind of poultice to use. I don't even know how to spell poultice. You know what I mean? We're going to get some witch hazel out of the garden. We're going to wrap it up with some mustard seed, and we're going to wrap that right around the bruise there.
You make jokes, but I actually do know how to do all of that. So,
but I don't know anything about any of that. All I know is if you're sick, you go to the walk-in clinic. That's what I know. That's the depth of my knowledge.
I go to the walk-in clinic, and then when I leave, I'm like,
I don't agree with that kid that helped me.
Maybe not. Let me
Right.
just go ahead and decide if which reminds me.
Yes.
David, I just want to say to our listeners or viewers, however you're ingesting this material,
You can find it on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts.
if you have ever thought, I wonder if I should go to a podiatrist about this foot or ankle issue that I'm having, but gosh, that's probably really expensive. Stop what you're doing right now. Pause this. Call a podiatrist to make an appointment. I just went recently and I was shocked at how affordable it was. I don't have health insurance. I'm self-pay. So
Right.
everywhere gives you a discount for being self-pay if you didn't know that. And I was shocked. I had an appointment with the doctor. It was in other offices, it might have been considered a complex appointment because we talked about a lot of different things.
Okay.
They did x-rays
Sure.
in the office.
X-rizzles.
Then he came back and we had a second consultation,
Uh-huh.
$245 all in.
That's great.
I mean, it wasn't free, but I was expecting
That's
it to
cheaper than a good meal at Bud's Broiler for two.
I was expecting it to be twice that. So I was very pleased. I have been putting off this appointment with the podiatrist for 5 months.
And I, on the flip side, have been seeing a farrier because I think it's a little less expensive to have him just shave my hoof than to actually go in.
No, but you make fun of me for all the research I do, the medical stuff and all the blah, blah, blah. But who was right about my foot? Who was right? I knew it. 5 months ago, I said, I think I probably hurt my sesamoid bones. I think I may have fractured them or bruised them. Yep.
But your care for them was lacking because what you needed to do was lower the inflammation. And that doctor...
Listen, we don't need to discuss
Jumped right
all
on
that.
it.
We're all
Jumped right on
we're
it.
all on track now. We're all on
right.
track now.
That's right.
I've got a plan going forward for the next 3 weeks, and yay! So all that to say, sometimes you just got to do the thing.
Okay, tell me more about doing the thing.
Well, whatever it is, the thing that you are putting off, just do the thing. You got to back to the internal motivation, right? There's a girl on TikTok that I follow, a lady, a woman. She's not a girl, like a little girl. She's like a millennial and has little kids. And she started this series about this very thing and has blown up. She's very popular on TikTok now, but she's a terrible procrastinator.
Okay.
So she started this series about how long does it actually take.
All right.
So she's like, here's this, closet in my bedroom that is a mess, and I've been procrastinating. I've been putting off organizing it for, 8 months.
Right.
So let's organize it and see how long it actually takes. And then she'll do like a speed video with nice cuts and everything of her doing it. And then she says, this project I've been putting off for 8 months actually took me 45 minutes or whatever.
Right.
So she, says it's perfect sales. This is the problem. This is the situation. Let's watch how we do it. This was the outcome, the result.
Yeah.
And so, a whole platform just about that thing. How long does it actually take?
I think that's a smart idea. How long does it actually take is a really clever way to get you past the I'm so overwhelmed I can't do it. That's a good way to flip your mind. It's a paradigm shift.
There was a book written in, I think, the early 80s called Sidetracked Home Executives.
Okay.
That was all about caring for your home.
Okay.
And it taught a system. For any of you who might be familiar with it, you might know that today it's called the Fly Lady. And she has an app and everything. It's still a thing.
Same person.
One of them, I think. One of them, or maybe one of their, or somebody bought. I don't know. I don't know exactly. But so it was a system for running your home. I implemented this in probably 1998.
Okay.
And used it, till my kids were gone, I think.
Was there a section in there about how to care for someone who's sick?
No.
Okay.
It's a system on caring for your home.
Okay.
Like cooking, cleaning, home maintenance, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And you put it on a system. Here's what you do, though. This is the beauty of it. You can use this for anything, by the way. You can use this in your job. Okay.
I like it.
Here are the things. You make a list of everything you have to accomplish in a day, a week, a month, whatever it is. Every day I have to get these things done.
Sure.
Let's just focus on the day,
Yep.
right? Every day I have to get this list of things done. Then you assign an amount of time.
Okay.
Well, how long does this actually take? That really, if I'm just doing that, it only takes 5 minutes. If I'm just doing that, it only takes 20 minutes.
Okay.
If I'm just doing this, it takes...
Sure.
You do this for the day, the week, the month. Then you take she used cards. I transferred it to a different system, but she used cards, and you have these cards that you write down the task.
Yes.
And different colored cards for whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly.
Okay.
And you get a file box and put it in a file box that's numbered 1 to 31, one for each day of the month. And you divide these up in the days of the month. The days of the month. And then every day you just move the day, you take the cards out, you accomplish the cards for that day, and then you just move them to the back of the box so next month they start over.
Okay.
And what you realize when you do this system is that your tasks that you have to do to run a very well-oiled machine of a home, because there's just shit that has to be done.
Right.
Like we all live in a house, right?
Like mop the kitchen.
Yeah, somebody's got to mop the floor. Somebody's got to mow the lawn. Somebody's got to change the furnace filters. You know what I mean? So all of it's in there. What you realize is when you systematize it like that, it doesn't take nearly as long as you thought. And everything's getting done regularly. And if at the time, nobody just shows up at your door anymore, except you. You still show up at people's houses unannounced.
Very rarely.
But most people don't. But that was when this was first written in the early 80s, I think it was. This was still a pretty common thing. People, ding dong, company. We got company. And so you were never caught off guard.
I see.
That's what I liked about it, and why I implemented it is because I was always ready for anything.
I like that. And that's how we're going to end it. Londa is always ready for anything. We have 60 seconds left in the show. What do you want to talk about?
I really am just a systems weirdo, aren't I?
I like it. I think it's great that you're a systems weirdo. And, we talked about this in the last iteration of this broadcast, which we didn't air because it didn't record all the way.
I landed an incredible listing because I'm a systems weirdo.
If you're not happy with the results in your business right now, we recommend looking at the systems that you used to use to become successful. Look at what you did to become successful and re-implement that. If you're doing the same thing you've always done, but you're not doing the stuff you did initially to get successful, go back and figure out what that was and start doing it again, and you'll be re-motivated.
Or change careers.
For Londa, Joanne Sherwood, Austin, the prettiest girl in the world, I'm David Austin, and this has been The Session with Londa and David. We'll see you next week.